Yo, it's Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. You know what time it is.
Narcocop and Timothy hitting you with that Lambo energy.
He's Mike by name, but the streets call Narcocop. Used to bust dealers, now he's busting long shots. Retired badge, now he's bad with the bets. Octagon fiend, cashing slips, no regrets. Friday night fight, Seki poured on ice. Lambo Plays podcast, breaking down the price. Got parlays, KO, subs in round 3. Split decision magic, cash it like a G. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KO's to be round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. Tim Troiano, lotion in hand. Tennis coach by day, fight fan of the land. Watching WMMA, yeah, you know the drill. Playing with himself, just joking, but still. Impressions fly, Katona in the house. Roses Jr. squeaking, Tim's loud like a mouse. Cornholio vibes, he's stealing the show. Narcos like bruh, but they still go toe to toe. Round 2 chaos, round 3 gold. Split decisions, bets unfold. Side case sipping, parlays lit. Lambo energy, never quit. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KOSOB round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG.
Narcocop, Timmy T, Friday nights, yes. Lambo Plays podcast, where long shots live large and splits hit harder. We out. We out. We out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 131, UFC Kansas City. I'm your host, Mike, but my co-host is not here today. We had some late-breaking news. There's some family things going on, so Tim had to run, but, big but, I do have a very good guest. Everybody loves him. He's on the show all the time. He is a friend of mine, and also, I tell the guy last second, and he always says yes. So I really appreciate him. I do want you guys to not put that bullshit that was going on last time when he was on here. I know there was and it's not a lot of people. It's probably 1 or 2, but respect my guests like you respect me. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, I am going to bring in my friend Liam Picks Fights. What is up, my man? Thank you for joining. Thank you for stepping in. Tim, my man Tim, had to take care of some business, but UFC Kansas City, 14 fights, an incredible non-pay-per-view card, to be honest. Like up and down, a lot of good fights here for a non-pay-per-view. How do you feel about this card in general, as far as betting, Lambos, anything like that? How do you feel?
Honestly, this is like the best week I feel like you could have asked me in terms of Lambo plays, because everything that I'm looking at on this card for the most part is like long shot props, put a small amount on it, hope that it works out for you, because a lot of these fights, I feel like they're somewhat binary. They've got paths to victory for both fighters. And I was honestly surprised by some of the props this week, and so that creates opportunity, right? And hopefully we could find some of those good spots. I have to say, whether it's Ian Gary or Liam, you call an Irishman on short notice, they're making the walk. So here we are, and let's get that money.
You definitely made the walk. He made the walk. Again, thank you very much. Let me go over to my chat. Shout out my chat really quick. Murray the DJ said, let's go. This is a wicked duo. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Elijah, what is up? Thank you for joining as well. Buster, how are you doing? There is Dixon as always. Thank you for joining as well. Mushroom in the house. Thank you for joining, Mushroom. MB, what's up, my man? Huge call on the Silva sub. I know that's Silva. That was the whisper bet of the week, boys, and we smashed that whisper bet of the week. So that felt even better. You know, Liam, when you make that little whisper bet and it comes through, man, does it feel good. Azure, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining as well. Kyle Larson, thank you as well. Philly Joel says, may God bless my brothers with the information to get me rich this weekend. Let's effing go. Haymaker, let's go, my man. Who else is in here? Match predictions, SA, all the way from South Africa. I think he wants to tune in to a South African that's fighting on this card tomorrow. Sorry. Arturo, what's up? Landon in the house. Craig Crowley, poker player. Gamblestein. Who else do we have in here? Dissection, what's up? Steven Jackson, Subhuman, DA07. Fresh is in the house. Jason's in the house. Man, we got a lot of people in here today. I appreciate each and every one of you. My God, I can't even go through this list. It'll take forever, Liam. But guys, if I didn't shout you out, I really appreciate you guys. Wacky Iraqi, Cameron, you name it, they're all in here. Thank you very, very much. 200 of them already in here, Liam. So let's start off. We have 14 fights. We will kick it off with the first fight of the night. And Liam, by the way, last time me and Tim is like, can we switch it up? Can you go first? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go first now. Sure enough, it was a great week because I went first. So we're going to keep the train rolling. I usually have my guests go first, but I'm going to take this one. And it is in the bantamweight division. It is the 6-3 Chelsea Chandler versus the 14-6 Jocelyn Edwards. And I'm sure you're not mad that you didn't take this as your first one. So with that being said, Chelsea Chandler is very well known to run face first into the cage after she gets hit. Chelsea Chandler, pretty much a punching bag on the feet, man. No defense. She's very, like, you know, she does this thing from side to side, but like she doesn't really move her head. She's like moving her body, but her head stays still. She gets hit a lot. She does try to go for takedowns, but her wrestling is honestly not very good. It's mostly trip takedowns that she likes. And on the other hand, Jocelyn Edwards, honestly, I'm kind of impressed with the improvements, Liam. Like, first of all, body improvements, right? Her body looks completely different. You know, she missed weight last time, but her body still looks different. Like, she's getting this six-pack now. She's really in shape. She's taking fighting seriously, you know, unlike before. And, you know, last time out against Vidal, she found the finish late in the fight. I mean, she hit Vidal with some big shots in that fight. And Vidal kind of toughed it out, was slinging back. But here with Chelsea Chandler, man, like, I don't like playing these usually, but this girl's a punching bag, and I feel like she's gonna get eventually knocked out, finished. It could be submission, honestly. It could be, you know, on the feet. I'm gonna take a shot with Edwards inside the distance here at 525. You know, she doesn't have any finishes except the Vidal one in the UFC. But prior to the UFC, she did have some finishes. And to be quite honest, I think Chelsea Chandler kind of is in that realm, like prior to the UFC. So with that being said, she got dropped last time against Vienna. Honestly, I could see Jocelyn finishing her multiple ways, whether it be she's on top, whether it be on the feet. So I'm going to take a sprinkle here at Jocelyn Edwards, ITD 525. What do you like here on the first fight of the night?
You know, we see this similar in some ways and slightly different in others. I basically think that we see this the same on the feet, right? If they just stay on the feet, Jocelyn is a better striker. She's a cleaner striker, more aggressive, more assertive, more offensive, cleaner techniques. So I think she'll be the much more effective fighter on the feet. The one thing I will say, though, is I think her wrestling and grappling has gotten rated by some people now because she's gone against absolute J-Brones, like just the worst of the worst. Her wins in the UFC are absolutely god-awful, no disrespect. And so then you have to say, like, okay, well, when she fights women that are somewhat competent, not world beaters, Nora Cornole, not a world beater, but competent, it doesn't always work out, right? And she has had 19 submissions attempted on her in 9 UFC fights. That's a really, really, really bad look. So I think that ultimately, I don't trust her takedown defense because I think that this is one of the more physical girls she's fought. And I think that her physical takedown defense is what normally holds up. She has a decent sprawl, but when you watch like extended situations with her, she makes really bad decisions in extended wrestling exchanges, in my view, where you're seeing girls that are not as physical and not as good take her down because she just does bad things, right? Things that don't make sense, including I think Vidal got on top of her at one point. This is from memory. I watched a lot of footage on it, but all of which to say is like, I'm watching this girl get taken down and put in bad spots by worse fighters. And I know Chelsea Chandler is super aggressive when she gets on top. Last thing I'll say here is both these women made weight in this fight. And for me, that's interesting. Number one, Chelsea Chandler fought at 145. She fought at 140. This is her first time making weight at 135 in the UFC properly. She was forced to go down. They didn't give her a choice. And honestly, I think her body composition looks a little bit more athletic this time around. I thought she kind of came in looking fat. No disrespect, but just my honest opinion last time. And I was like, man, that's not a person who's trying to make the weight. This time, 134, guys. She really did the work in camp this time to make sure there was no doubt, made the weight, and her job might be on the line, right? She's 2-2 in the promotion, probably trying to get another contract. Jocelyn Edwards on the other side, 5-4, never beaten an opponent that's worth their damn in the UFC. That's the truth. So for me, she's done a good job of, kicking cans, crushing cans. But now it's like two girls that I think are going to really try and fight for this. I think that Chelsea Chandler will get exposed if it's on the feet, but if it's on the ground, like Jocelyn Edwards might get beat up, right? She might get pummeled with some elbows. She did that to Stoliarenko, but also she might just hold on to her on top like she did Josiane Nunes. She might just try and go for submissions, which she hasn't done a lot of in the UFC. But again, it's not like Jocelyn Edwards' opponents were the cream of the crop. These are Ramona Pascal recording sub-attempts. These are terrible fighters recording multiple sub-attempts. So it's like, if that's going to be the case, like I just think that this chance, number one, I'm going to say it like this. The fight not to go is a Lambo play. It's plus 320. That covers you. That covers me. That covers both these women not having the best decision-making, making huge mistakes, being vulnerable to bad decisions. But also it's like, I'm looking a little bit towards like Chandler by sub 14-1, ends by sub is like plus 500. I'm like, these women are probably going to attempt to grapple each other. Like Chelsea Chandler in almost every fight tries to grapple. Can she grapple Norma Dumont and Yana Santos, proven UFC vets? No, but when she goes against Josiane Nunes, who looked like a blue belt, she dominated her on the ground and honestly made that fight harder than it needed to be. So for me, I just think this fight could end violently in either direction. I think it could be a KO for Jocelyn Edwards. I think Chandler can win anyway if she gets on top of her. So for me, that's kind of the way I'm looking at this, man. Violence, let's say fight not to go the distance, plus 320 as the first Lambo play.
Nice. So you know what caught my attention more than anything? These girls combined have 13 UFC fights, right? I think this has got to be a record, right? They've missed weight 5 fucking times. 13 fights. That's got to be a record, dude.
How about this? Jocelyn hasn't won a fight where she made weight in her last few fights, dude. She keeps winning these fights, and go look. She misses weight, wins the fight. Makes weight, loses the fight. She lost to Aylin. She lost to the other girl where she made weight. Nora. Crazy, man.
After watching that Nora fight, though, I think she won that fight, man. Like I rewatched it this morning, and I think she got screwed there pretty bad, man. I thought she won round 1 and 2 pretty clear, and somehow they gave it to Nora. And she was shocked, dude, when they gave it to Nora. She was like pissed off. Anyways, let's move on here. Fight number 2. It is in a featherweight division. It is the 8-3 Timmy Kuwamba versus the 8-4-1 Roberto Romero. This one's yours, Liam.
Oh gosh. Not a fight that I feel super strongly about. I'll say Romero submission as the click here. I basically think that Romero showed his hand in his last fight. If he hurts you, he's going to try and hop on your neck, try and get you out of there. Against David Onama, big guy, athletic, strong, was able to just buck his way out of there, right? He went for a no hooks rear naked choke, and Onama basically just went, wow, like explosive movement, got back up to his feet. And that's what you need to do sometimes to defend a sub. But basically, he's on short notice. He hurt the guy and went for a club and sub. Timmy Kuwamba, in my view, I'm not impressed by the guy, right? Could he impress me this weekend? Sure. I'll take my hat off to him if he does. But against Mateo Vogel, I thought he lost the fight. I thought it was a gift decision. Against the other two guys he's fought in the UFC, he's not eclipsed 59 significant strikes. he's never looked like an impressive fighter to me, truly. So I just think that Timmy Kuwamba, he's 24 or 26 or whatever. He's a young kid. Maybe he'll get better over time. I think he got to the UFC too early. Romero on the other side got some work in combate. He shows this kid's ready to go out there and put it all on the line for 15 minutes, even when he's not ready. So now it's like he's got that look in his eye more than Kuwamba does too. They both had the look, but I'm telling you, man, this guy Romero seems like he's dialed, seems like he's ready to come do some violence. And I think he's going to try and hurt this guy. And if he does, I think he's going to try and take his neck.
All right. Yeah, I mean, both these guys super young. Kuwamba, 25, 26. I think Romero's around 25 as well. So both guys are very young, kind of inexperienced, you know, not a lot of experience on both sides. Kuwamba 0-2 now in the UFC. So it's probably put up or shut up here for him. He loses, he's probably going to get cut. And, you know, Romero last time out on short notice, pretty impressive against Onama, right? He hurts him. He hurts him very bad. Then gets hurt himself at the end of round one. Somehow survived. He looked death gassed at the end of round one. And somehow, some way he survived 2 more rounds against Onama. In a lot of his footage, like combate, like he's cage pushing, he's grappling. But I think the best part of his game is his kicking game. He's got really good kicks, inside, outside. I mean, they're pretty fast. They're powerful. He uses them very well. He uses them kind of to close distance sometimes so he can grapple, you know. And what's crazy is he grapples a lot on tape. You know, he tries to grapple a lot. I don't know if it's going to be very successful against Kuwamba because Kuwamba, you know, he's got good sprawls. He has good initial takedown defense. I think both guys are honestly pretty damn tough. But what I dislike with Kuwamba, Liam, to your point, his volume sucks, dude. Like, it just doesn't throw volume. He's trying to be too pretty in there, right? And I think in this type of fight, it's going to be hard for him to look pretty because Romero's going to come forward. He's going to throw his kicks. He's going to throw hands. He's going to, you know, he's going to put the pressure on, and he's not going to make it a pretty fight. So in this scenario, I kind of like this Romero decision is not terrible. It's 275. It's a used Lambo on Hard Rock. But one thing that stuck out is Romero by split on Bet Online, much better than DraftKings for some reason. It's plus 900. I think it's not like a fight where I think Romero pulls away if it goes to scorecards. I think it's going to be semi-close. I kind of lean Kuwamba for the cardio a little bit, but I think it's close. But I just like the decision on Romero, the pricing in a fight that's kind of pick 'em. He's the guy that's going to throw more volume, man. So, like, if you're telling me the guy that throws more volume is a higher price to win by decision, I think that's a good click because Romero throws way more volume than Kuwamba. It just is what it is. So, Romero by decision 275 is on Hard Rock, and then the split on Bet Online on Romero is a 9-1 on Bet Online. With that being said, let's move on. Fight number 3. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 9-1 Jacqueline Amarim versus the 13-7 Polyana Vienna. Honestly, I think Amarim's going to sub her. I've been saying this all week. I kind of messed up because earlier in the week, I was talking to Sean, and I'm like, dude, Amarim is minus 200 ITD, and I want to click it. And I'm like, maybe I'll wait till the domestics open. And sure enough, I waited. Everything ballooned up, dude. 275, 300. I just can't click that anymore.
Money line opened in the 2XX range, and I literally just sent on Patreon. I was like, if anybody has Bet Online, you're going to want to take that. That will not exist much longer.
Yeah.
And, now we see it's like minus 1,000. Like,
yeah. And I think like Vienna's probably done, dude. She's an OnlyFans girl. I mean, she looked like she was in good shape on the scales, but I really think this girl is pretty easy to take down. This is the thing. Amarim is very good with her single legs, Liam, and Polyana Vienna is terrible defending the single leg. Like, she flops on her back after you get her leg, and it's like, this is not a good matchup for her. And Amarim is world class when it comes to jiu-jitsu. She's really, really good on top. Vienna, you know, supposedly she's a black belt, but she gets subbed an awful lot for a fucking black belt. So, I can't really play anything outside of sub 2 on Amarim at 450, but sub 3 on FanDuel at plus 1300 is way off market, like way off market. So if you want to take a sprinkle there, sub 3, 1300, 13 to 1, it's just way off from everywhere else. So that's how I'm playing it. So it's probably going to be sub 1 too, to be honest. But the pricing is just god awful on sub 1. I can't play it. So sub 2, sub 3 for me. Amarim's going to finish her, in my opinion. She's just going to Vienna's probably going to quit after this or get cut or retire or something. She's probably making a ton of money on OnlyFans, to be honest. So she's got a ton of followers. I can only imagine how much she's making. Why would she even want to fight in the UFC? Liam?
Yeah, man, I'm going to deviate just slightly here. And I'm going to go with the ends by KO. And I'll explain my thought process here. First and foremost, you have a girl who I think has really easy access to takedowns. And when you have access to takedowns, it should give you the opportunity to be in dominant positions. Now, when you have somebody like Vienna, you mentioned she should have the credentialing in the jiu-jitsu, right? Jillian Robertson was looking for some subs, was looking to go off and get the armbar and couldn't quite get it. So then she's like, you know what? I could easily just posture up and beat the shit out of this girl. There's nothing she could do about it. And I think that that's exactly what Amarim will realize as well, which is that Pollyanna just lays flat on her back and does nothing when you get her down there, right? The easiest bet, I think, money line I've ever cashed in my life was Tabitha Ricci minus 110 against this girl. She would push her over and then the round's over. Like literally the girl is laying on her back. There's nothing holding her down. There's no pressure on top of her. The girl is like 5 feet away kicking at her leg and she's not even trying to stand up. So if that's the case against somebody in Ricci who doesn't want to do anything offensive, you're going to get 15 minutes of easy money and then win the decision. Fair play. I don't think Amarim's like that. She's aggressive. She's a proven finisher. She's going to go out there and try and get on top of this girl early, beat her up, and submit her. And I think that there's a chance she submits her. But I honestly think that when I watch back that last footage against Jillian Robertson, I had Robertson KO. I had Robertson KO too. I had Amarim KO 16-1 against Conejo. I had KO 2 or what. It's like at this point, I'm like, I know that it's a BJJ girl. She could go for the sub, but it's another BJJ girl. She could maybe defend a couple, get beat up, and quit. And I hope that's what she does. Give me the TKO. Here's the last thing I'll mention. It's the same price as the KO for Vienna, or excuse me, for Amarim, which is why I'm taking it. Because why not have the one way I think that Pollyanna can actually win this fight, which is she connects with a big punch and the girl goes to sleep. Like at the end of the day, it's still a fight. And Amarim hasn't been tested much in the striking. Pollyanna Vienna has knocked girls out cold before. She's knocked women out regionally as well. Amanda Hebos, 7-5 in the UFC. She got knocked out in Jungle Fight by Pollyanna Vienna. So that's the reason I took the ends by KO. I think it's Amarim via smash. I think that, more often than not, it's a finish in the first 2 rounds, however you want to slice it, but give me the value on the KO.
Yeah, it's funny. I had Robertson by KO around 2-3 too in that fight. And it was like huge number. But you know what's crazy? In her interview prior to that fight, Robertson said, I am going to go in there and KO her. She
still went for the sub, dude. That's why you can never trust a jiu-jitsu person. But yes, you're right. I saw that too.
That was funny because she's like, I'm going to go in there and KO this girl. And sure enough, she did it for us. But yeah, you're right. She was going for that sub. I'm like, oh my God, you said you were going to KO her. Anyways, Punisher's asking, you guys are wild for not sprinkling on sub. Do you guys consider a quarter unit a sprinkle? All depends. A sprinkle is like, most of my little sprinkles are like 0.1 unit because my unit sizing is bigger, but I go small. So quarter unit is a little bit bigger than a sprinkle, I would say. But yeah, I mean, listen, she attacks arm bars. I just don't see. Do you see Amarim getting? Amarim is world class, man. I
would be very surprised if she got submitted. I will say, like, when you look, it's WMMA. Have we seen stupid things before? Yes. But when you look at Tomar against Shauna Bannon, that's an example of really low level fighting leading to meme-like finishes. She's a world class jiu-jitsu operator. If she doesn't get hurt first, I'd be very surprised if she gets submitted because she knows the next thing to do, right? Like if she gets in an armbar, she's going to hit a hitchhiker escape. She's going to roll. She's going to know the next steps. And a lot of fighters don't know those next steps, which is why they tap.
Yeah. A lot of these girls also that she subbed, they're like, I mean, look at Emily Whitmore, Mallory Martin. Like And it
And
wants
she
to
got
shut
subbed by
the-
Veronica Hardy when Veronica Hardy was
Correct.
still Veronica Macedo.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see
Those
it.
were dark times.
I do not see it, honestly, Punisher. But if you like it, you want to sprinkle it, by all means. I'm never going to stop someone to sprinkle whatever, 15-1 or whatever the hell it is. Let's move on. Fight number 4. It is in a bantamweight division. It is the 9-2 Cameron Simon versus the 8-0 Malcolm Wellmaker. Liam, this one's yours.
Oh, goodness. Man, the more I looked into this fight, the harder it was for me to make a pick of any kind here. Like, I honestly think it's a good fight. I think both these guys are tough guys. Slight edge to Wellmaker, I feel like, on the feet, not because of the technique. I think both guys can strike well. I just think he can land a little bit harder. I think he could probably take a little bit of a better shot. Simon's a tough kid. You see his submission defense, the kid's not going to be put away easily, right? Like, you could put him in some bad spots. He'll keep rolling. He'll keep moving. He'll keep trying the next right thing. And I think that makes him tough. Wellmaker, I think, is going to be the more dangerous guy early in this fight. But the one thing I'll also note about Simon, man, is he's got a pretty good pace to him. He's got a pretty good motor, and he keeps pushing, right? Like, you could kind of beat his ass a little bit. Even Peyton Talbot was beating his ass. He was still enthusiastically accepting it. He's like, I'm here. Give me another one, sir. And eventually he went down. But I just think that when you look at the kid on the scales, like, he's finally starting to come into his own in his body as a man. He's like 24 going on 25. And I do think that Cameron Simon, he might like have to go back to the regional and retool things if he loses this fight. He's a little bit young still, but I will just say I watch market width on these props, Narco. And when I see like really big width, it stands out to me. Like, one book is at 800 and one book's at 1500. It's like, whoa, what happened there? Why are they seeing it so different? Cameron Simon by sub is like 15-1 in some places. The ends by sub is also a very big number on those books. And when I'm looking, I'm just like, Bet Online has it like plus 850. And that's sort of where I was expecting it to be more in lines with just like a lot of these other fights. I think Cameron Simon in his last few fights showed that he's competent at jiu-jitsu and he's willing to mix it up with anybody on the mat. I mean, Christian Rodriguez was having a very hard time holding him down, kept getting spun out of bad situations. So ultimately, I just think that this kid's going to compete, right? And I think he probably loses the fight, but at 15-1, I think you can make worse clicks this week. So I guess Simon by sub and the ends by sub would be my plays there. I had Wellmaker by sub on Contender Series. He obviously likes his power. He likes to deal damage there. He's got 2 wins by submission himself. He's not afraid to club and sub. And I'll just say, I don't know if you're going to hurt Cameron Simon and put him down easily. I think he could hurt him, but I think the kid's going to keep moving, keep trying. You might just need to lock up that rear naked choke. And, you can't be a tough guy about a choke. You just go to sleep like everybody else. So I think that's what we might see in this one.
Yeah. I agree with you. Both guys are super tough. Simon, crazy pace, good cardio, very, very good cardio. I kind of said this in my Discord. I said, man, they brought him in way too early, man. Like, I don't think this guy, I get it. He won Contender Series. He looked good against that guy that honestly was probably fraudulent, that Kim guy, the brothers. But like, it was just way too early for him. And you could see, man, like even that short notice replacement guy, Kozlo, he didn't look good in that fight, man. He's getting out physicaled in that fight big time by that dude. But that guy gassed pretty damn bad. Kozlo gassed bad. And then you look at the Mana Martinez fight, and again, doesn't look very good in that fight. He's getting hit a lot. And, and then the Talbot fight, obviously he gets finished, right? The one thing I will say that I don't like with Cameron Simon, and he does it in his regional tape, he does it in the UFC, and he's continued to do it, is throwing these stupid naked leg kicks with his hands down, dude. He does it all the time. He got dropped in the regionals with it in South Africa. He got dropped in the UFC now last fight with it. He's been hurt. He got hurt against Mana Martinez with it. And honestly, I think Wellmaker is a bigger puncher than all those guys, including Talbot. Talbot, I think, is more of a volume guy. Wellmaker is a one-hitter quitter type of guy. Guy has a lot of power. And I think the athleticism, the strength here, I think is going to show, man. Wellmaker looks very, very strong when I watch his tape. And I think he hits very hard. And if Simon does that bullshit naked leg kick, he's going to send him to Mars. So I think this is the biggest puncher he's faced. And, Rodriguez fight, he took a beating in that fight as well. Then he comes back and gets knocked out bad in another beating against Talbot. I know he's taken a year off, but this guy's the biggest hitter he's faced, honestly. And it's something about this kid that I really, really like, Wellmaker, man. The attitude, the passion, the guy works full time, but he doesn't miss a day in the gym, man. Like 7 days a week. Like this dude is full. And, from everything I've heard, and there's people that know him, and who knows him as well, like says a lot of good things about this guy. The drive, the hunger, now he's in the UFC. He wants the $50K bonus. He wants to get that bonus so he can leave his job and work full time. I mean, and fight full time, right? I'm taking a shot on KO, man. It's 360. I think this is the biggest hitter he's faced. And I am with you. I do think Simon is going to be hard to put out. But I also think Simon is very, very hittable. And this guy hits very, very hard. So, it's not the best price. I was hoping I would get a bigger price. But because he got knocked out last fight, against Talbot, we end up getting, 360. But I truly think this guy, Wellmaker, he's the goods, man. He is a little green, but I love his get-up game. I love his athleticism. He's very athletic and powerful. So we'll see. It's a great matchup. And it feels like Cameron Simon cannot catch a break, right? They're just giving him all. I mean, Christian Rodriguez was the test, and that was terrible. Then they give him Talbot. It's like a terrible matchup. And now they're giving him this young killer. It's like, what are they trying to do to this guy?
I think people don't understand sometimes, Mike, that not all matchmaking is created equal at all. And like, for whatever reason, they're just bottom of the barrel for this guy, like hardest matchups that they can think of, kind of. It's like, basically they were like, are you the prospect that we're going to work with? He loses to C-Rod. They're like, nope, we're the prospect that gets fed to
I was
others.
just going to say that. It's like they want him out of here or something. Like, because if you really thought this kid had a future in the organization, you wouldn't fucking give him Wellmaker right now. Or after C-Rod, you wouldn't give him Talbot, dude. Like, what?
Maybe they're trying to give him the door and then let him come back in a couple of years. Because honestly, I think that would be the best thing for him. Personally,
it's possible. It's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, listen, Wellmaker is not like a killer, but it's just the matchup style. Like, this guy's athletic, he's powerful. Like, I just think it's kind of a bad matchup. But let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division again. It is the 16-7-1 Damon Blackshere versus the 17-9-2 Alatang Haley. This was like maybe last week, and I saw Blackshere, it was like 250. I'm like, to everybody in my Discord, hit Blackshere 250. Like, this line's going to get murdered. And, sure enough, it's over 500 in a lot of spots now. And I just think Alatang Haley, he's a one-trick pony. He kind of throws a little bit on the feet, but he wants to wrestle you, right? And a lot of people are talking about how Blackshere didn't look good early against Cody Gibson, and Cody Gibson looked like he stung him at one point. But, like, I just think the athleticism gap, the physicality, like, okay, Alatang Haley is a decent enough wrestler, but he doesn't have jiu-jitsu, man. He just doesn't have any jiu-jitsu. And we know Damon has very good jiu-jitsu. He's got some power in his hands. He's a big bantamweight. And we saw, if you looked at the face-offs, man, he was gigantic compared to Alatang Haley. I like that he's working at Kill Cliff now. The guy is just getting better and better. He's taking these short notice fights now. Because he just fought. If in March, it's been a month that this guy fought, and he's right back in the cage again. And I like that. You know what I like here? I do, but I'll preface this by saying is I do think Blackshere probably subs him, but 11-1 on a KO for a guy that's huge. He hits hard. He has good timing on his knees. He could actually get on top and absolutely destroy him from on top. I took a sprinkle, man. It's 11-1 on the KO for Damon Blackshere here. I know that he doesn't have a lot of KOs. I think it's 2. Alatang Haley has only been knocked out, I think, once or twice. Yeah, actually 3 times. So earlier on in his career. But listen, Blackshere is huge. he's going to probably time a knee on this guy too. He's much more athletic. He has very good wrestling himself, by the way, Blackshere. It's not like he's a slouch. Again, most likely a sub, in my opinion. I do think he finishes. But I couldn't ignore the 11-1 on the fucking KO here. So I'm going with the KO here on Blackshere. I just think he's better. He's a better fighter everywhere, and it's not close. What do you like here, Liam?
In my heart, I'm an underdog guy, Narco, as you know. And I will say this. I think there's a few interesting things about this fight. Number one, if I'm on the Blackshere side, I'm totally with you. Like, I actually wrote that up as like my first thing that I thought about this fight. I was like, why is Blackshere KO like 11-1? Like, it just didn't make any sense. The KO, like, fight ends KO is 6-1, which also doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense to me. And I'll explain why. I think that if Halatang Haley wins this fight, he's going to either grind out a disgusting split decision, type of fight, right? Where he gets some takedowns and maybe outworks him a little bit late, which happened to him against Mario Bautista. I'm not saying they're on the same level. I'm trying to give you an archetype for what the fight looks like. And then conversely, if you go back and watch the Yusuf Zalal fight, it's like a minor miracle that fight wasn't stopped in favor of Yusuf Zalal. He's like literally doing anything he wanted to him for 5 minutes. So when you look back at that, Blackshere's a tough guy, but there's costs associated with being the biggest guy at a weight class, right? He cuts a lot of weight in my view. He looks like he's cutting a lot of weight when he steps on the scale, and he's 5'10". He's got a lot of musculature. So it's not easy to cut that weight when you're literally just pulling all the water out of your muscles. And when you get knocked out with one punch from Montel Jackson, it kind of tells me not that Montel Jackson is a dangerous guy. He can do the same thing to Alatangi Lee, but maybe the durability is being affected by the massive weight cut. I think that's certainly something that you want to keep in the back of your mind. Also, cardio is something that's affected by you cutting a lot of weight. And this guy typically slows down in round 3. That's his worst round in almost every fight. So when he comes out a little sluggish against Cody Gibson, by the way, I bet Cody Gibson plus 350 in that spot. Obviously didn't win, right? It was a bad bet in hindsight. But the rationale behind it was, I think he's going to go out there, try and get in this guy's face. And honestly, I think he can connect if he wants to throw. And he's throwing and landing and doing great. And then he forces the wrestling and ends up putting himself in a bad way. It's possible Alatang Haley does the exact same thing, but no one's picking this guy. No one's betting this guy. No one acknowledges that he's on this card. Like, it's Damon Blackshere and his opponent. And it's like, this guy's 5-2 in the UFC. Like, at what point do you get some respect put on your name? The guy wins more fights than he loses. He's been here since 2019. He keeps fucking winning fights. So it's like, by the way, a guy who I'm a big fan of, Chad and Hellinger, he got his fucking nose punched to the other side of his face. So then he was like, yo, I'm not going to engage with this guy anymore. I'm going to fucking do my thing on the outside and go home and get this fixed. That's what he did. And he basically said that. Alatang Haley's throwing with power. He's throwing with intent. He's not just out there to pitter-patter with people. So if Damon gets tired, bro, plus 3750 for this guy to win in the third round. Like, I literally saw Yusuf Zalal 10-8 this man in the third round. I saw him slow down, get taken down in round 3 against Mario Bautista. I watched it. So it's like, I'm just saying, the way I see this, Damon early, right? Rounds 1 and 2, the KO like we discussed. But on the other side, Alatang Haley is like literally like 40-1 to win this in the third round. And I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Alatang Haley, the one thing with Alatang Haley is he's tough. He is tough. Round 3 against Gustavo Lopez. He got hurt very bad in that fight, and he fought through it. And Lopez had his back. He couldn't sub him. He tried, but yeah, I think
Damon's better grappler than Gustavo. But
oh yeah, Damon. If Damon gets to his back, he's gonna be in big trouble because he's got those long limbs too. Like long arms, long legs. Good luck getting out of that body triangle, and the guy, like I said, he's strong too. It's going to be a hell of a time.
And his response against Gibson was phenomenal, right? Like, if you're going to have a bad start to a fight, that's what you do. Come back and assert yourself, make it clear who won. And nobody had any questions after. It was the better fighter, right?
Yeah. I mean, he for whatever reason he took the back foot. And then the minute he started, he was on the front foot in round 2. It was a completely different fight. But anyways, let's move on here. Fight number 6. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 21-5-2 Chris Gutierrez versus 21-7 John Castaneda for the freaking 5th time. This one's yours, Liam.
Castaneda sub 12-1 or Gutierrez KO 7-1. I hate this fight.
I hate this fight as well. It's going to be a kicking clinic from Gutierrez until it isn't. Castanada, I'm assuming, is going to mix in takedowns. I mean, he kicks a little bit as well. I think this is going to be a very boring fight, to be honest. Like, just Gutierrez fights are just boring, man. Like, he kicks, he does the same shit every time, you know, and props to him. Like, he makes it work, right? That's how he wins fights. It is what it is.
Gone decision in 9 of 13, Narco. Brutal.
Yeah, but you know what's weird, Liam? Castaneda, he pulled out last time, right? And it was March 8th, right? And it's about a month and a half. And they said he had like some kind of sickness. And nobody, I can't find anything. Because usually, right? Like, you're sick one week, you're rebooked the next, or 2 weeks later, not a fucking month and a half later. What kind of sickness was this? That it's a month and a half later that this guy gets rebooked again. So, like, this is the third weight cut for John Castaneda in what? A month and a half? Like, it's a lot of weight cuts, man. March 1st against Andrade, March 8th against Gutierrez, and then now again. So this is month and a half. He's got 3 weight cuts. I can't believe that's a good thing, right? That's not a good thing. So, I don't know what to play here. Like, I don't like anything, to be honest. The only thing I can play, because I don't think Castaneda's finishing him, honestly. I really don't. Castaneda points plus 250, a used fucking Lambo. Like, I mean, I think the fight might be a little bit close here. You know, it's not going to be a blowout one way or the other. If Castaneda's smart, he's going to mix in takedowns, dude. Like, he's got to wrestle here. He has a wrestling background, right? He was a D2 or something wrestler in Minnesota. Like, fucking wrestle. Like, that's how you're going to win against Gutierrez, right? We saw, and the other thing is his teammate, right? The guy Kwang Lei or whatever that took the fight on short notice. Yeah, he took the fight on short notice, and that's his teammate. We saw the recipe, right? He waited a little too long until his leg got chopped off to wrestle. But, like, we saw it. He could wrestle him. So if Kwang Lee can wrestle him, Castaneda is a better grappler. He should be able to wrestle him. So, plus 250. This fight is like, I want nothing to do with this fight. Honestly, when I saw it again, I like completely scratched out. I didn't even tape it again. I'm like, I'm done with this fight. Anyways, go ahead.
I was going to just say, the first time they fought, I was picking Castaneda, and now I'm picking Gutierrez. I have no idea how to feel about this fight. It's just, it's a hard one.
Yeah. All right. Fight number 7. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 9-2 Evan Elder versus the 9-2 Gage Young. And I will kick this one off. Honestly, I was surprised at face-off. They're the same size. Gage Young and Evan Elder are exactly the same size. I did not see any difference.
Can I give you some color on that, Narco? He's actually competed as high as 175 in catch weights. Gage Young has been all over the board from 45 up to 75 since he's been fighting like amateur. He's just a weird build guy.
Yeah. And honestly, I thought Elder was going to be much bigger than him. It wasn't the case. You know, obviously Young took this fight on short notice, but I want to preface with this by saying that he was actually training for a fight. Don't kid yourselves. Like, people seem to think that this was just short notice 1 week. No. This guy was supposed to fight next week. So he was in a training camp. He was definitely training. He had a fight, I believe, May 1st. Let me just make sure May 2nd. He had a fight scheduled for May 2nd, and he got the call up. So he was scheduled to fight. He was in camp. He made weight. I mean, he didn't look drained or anything. Obviously, you know, he took a little time to make weight. He wasn't up there the first one, but he made weight. I like this kid. I said this last time we were breaking. I think you were on the show, actually, when we were breaking down that Australian Salkilled.
Salkilled and Jubilee.
Yes, you were on the show, right? And I said that this kid is deserving of a UFC opportunity because he really looked good against Salkilled. And I think Salkilled is a very good fighter. So here we are now. He is in the UFC. He got a late, call up. And I honestly believe this is a winnable fight for him. Evan Elder is good, but not great at anything. He really isn't. And I do think he's a good fighter. I do think that the guy is tough, right? But one thing that sticks out with Evan Elder in every single fight is he gets hurt in every fight. He's been literally hurt in every fight, except the Darius Flowers one. And you know, Gennaro Valdez dropped him bad in round 2. Like
0-3 in the UFC, by the way.
Yeah, and that is not a good look, man. A lot of people will go back to the Nazim fight and say, well, he was up 2-0. He was looking good. Sure, he was, but then he got finished with a cut on his eye, you know, unfortunately for him. Now, Preston Parsons one, I just think he shouldn't have been at 70. Like, he got ragdolled in that fight. It was short notice. He just wanted to get in the UFC. I think Gage Young hits harder here. I think he's the harder puncher. He has one punch power. Dude, the shots that he gave Salkild up against the fence, I couldn't believe Salkild took those shots. I mean, he rattled his brain with a couple of big shots. And I honestly, you know, as tough as I think Elder is, I don't think he's going to be able to take those shots, man. He got dropped by Valdez. I don't think he's going to be able to take big shots from Gage Young. I just feel like Gage Young has a little bit more finishing equity of the two. I do think Elder is probably the better wrestler of the two and the better grappler overall. Hence why I like, and I don't love it, but I like the sub on Elder, just because it's 12-1, right? We got a guy that just won by sub last time out, right? We saw that he can wrestle, he can grapple. He's fighting a guy in Gage Young that he can also wrestle and grapple, don't get me wrong. But we also see that he can get taken down. And in his only stoppage loss against Lee, I mean, he got grappled there and he got armbarred eventually. So is there a world where Elder can find a submission? Sure. Like, why not? At 12-1, I'm willing to take a shot. However, I do want to say that on a money line basis, I like Gage Young here. I really do. I think this money line is a bit too wide here. Because Elder, again, I'm going to say it, he's good, but he's not great at anything. You know, he gets hit a lot on the feet, doesn't have the best defense. And Gage Young honestly showed me a lot in that loss to Salkild. He dug deep. It was a freaking high-paced fight. And, you know, for a guy that a lot of people were saying everything's knockout, KO1, this guy has no cardio, he showed very, very good cardio in that fight. So, yeah, I mean, sub here for me, for Elder at 12-1, but money line wise, I like Gage Young here. Liam?
Yeah, we see this one essentially the exact same way. I said that the only way I would play Evan Elder in this fight is to look at the submission prop. But if in terms of the money line side, I think that this should be like Evan Elder -120, -125 against Gage Young, even money. And the reason I say that is because Evan's been in the UFC a couple of times. He's gotten that experience. Frankly, that performance against Nazim has aged well, right? Like, he got up from a knockdown. He kept coming forward. He won a second round. But I'll tell you this, man. When I look at Evan Elder, I think that the guy is lights out for like 4 minutes of the first round, 3 minutes of the second round, and like 2.5 of the third. The guy can recover in between rounds. Hats off to him, right? But I truly think, like, I said this about him earlier this week, and some people gave me grief. I want to be clear. You can make a comparison without it being holistic. Jose Aldo fights nothing like Evan Elder, except that they're both very tense in their striking. They're like ready to recoil, throw back. It's like this tautness that makes it hard for you to flow over time, right? When you're loose, when you're moving, you could do it all day. But when you're tight like this, it just gets exhausting. And I think Evan Elder is constantly ready to throw a big combination counter back and do all these things, but he can't pace himself very well over 15, in my view. So I think that if the fight goes 15, it's going to give Gage Young a lot of opportunities to get off on his own offense, to compete, and to make it very close. Honestly, I truly believe that you can make an argument that Gage Young did more damage in the first and second rounds against Quillen Salkild. Now, did Quillen Salkild win the fight, deserve to win it? Yes. But I'm saying people always use that word, damage. I'm saying if we're going just on that, that's what you all talk about. I thought he did more damage in those rounds. Quillen got the takedowns. He mixed it up. He made him work more. He landed good shots of his own. But Gage hits hard, man, and he's clearly getting reactions from people when he hits them. When you go back and you're pushing this guy up against the fence, not only did he have him rattled in terms of his brain, dude, he had him rattled in terms of his confidence. He's like, his corner had to like get him back on track. Like, hey, fuck all that striking shit. Go ahead and grab him. Just wrestle him. Like, they're like begging him to just make it an easier fight on himself. And he had to give everything, guys. Quillen Salkild's got great cardio. He's got great ability to push. Most guys can't do 20 takedown attempts in 15 minutes. He did it. And that's what it was needed to beat Gage Young. Gage Young made him give everything. And I think that when you look at Evan Elder, he's 2-2 in the UFC. Here's the thing. That fight against Darius Flowers, throw it out. Darius Flowers had 2 minutes of cardio in that fight. And by the way, he was walking Evan down with impunity, like basically telling him, you can't hurt me. You do nothing well. Like he's like shit talking him from 2 steps away and landing and doing okay. And then he completely gasses out and he's pulling guard in the first round. So it was a horrible look for Darius. It wasn't a great look for Evan. Here's the other thing. Evan got on top and then Darius like just sat up and he fell over the top and like ended up on his back for a second. I'm like, these are the kind of things that you get away with against Darius Flowers because he's not supposed to be here with you. And I just think that Genaro Valdez, these other guys, Preston Parsons is 2-4 in the UFC, right? Like if he hadn't beaten up on Evan Elder, who was up a weight class, he probably doesn't have a career with us anymore. It's like, oh, these are the kind of things that make me think Evan Elder going to be in a really tough fight on Saturday. Gage Young, KO 6-1. That's the one for me because I think that's most of his win equity. But here's the other thing. The decision's over 4-1. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility either. I think if it's a decision, it's a very close one. So for me, money line side is Gage Young. Let's go with the KO for the Lambo play.
Yeah, I really like this kid, honestly. And that's what I was looking at. It was either KO on Gage Young or the sub, which is a little bit too wide on Elder, because honestly, Elder's going to need to grapple, in my opinion. If he's just standing for 15 minutes, he's going to get caught. Like, I understand he has power himself, but man, Young showed me a very, very good chin against Salkild. Salkild landed big shots on him. He didn't even fucking flinch. I'm like, what the fuck? What's this kid made of?
He's a tough bastard.
Oh, he is very tough. All right, let's move on. Fight number 8. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 16-9 Matt Schnell versus the 17-8 Jimmy Flick. This one's yours, Liam. Enjoy it.
Man, you could have got a used Corolla on Jimmy Flick a little bit earlier in the week at the plus 235. That's what I did. Now it's down to like plus 135, plus 155. So obviously the money lines ran away. You could still get a sub for like a moderate, like a just off the lot Lambo that somebody, might have dinked with a key or something, but essentially it's like 3-1 on that. So I don't love it. I have the money line already plus 235. I'm just going to say Jimmy Flick by KO 15-1. He throws head kicks against what's his name? Nate Maness. If he lands one of those against Matt Schnell, even by accident, he could be booking it. I will say one of my biggest gambling regrets of all time is not betting. What's the Jesus Aguilar, right? T-Rex arms. I think he's literally knocked out one person in his career. Guys, Shannon Ross, I had said, has the worst chin in the history of fighting. Right up there with Matt Schnell. The dude got touched one time and literally fell sideways, stiff as a board, completely concrete. And I don't think Jesus Aguilar ever knocked out anybody before or since. When you got a bad chin, you got a bad chin. Jimmy Flick, I don't believe, is going to go out there and attempt 0 strikes. I think he could get a takedown if he gets on top. We've seen Hector Sandoval do this. Watch me. And my man went out. And Hector Sandoval couldn't believe it. This was years and years ago, before all the other knockouts. Steve Ursak's only UFC knockdown against this guy. Again, I'm just going with Jimmy Flick. Let's go Jimmy Flick by knockout.
Man, you are tempting me on that one because honestly, not only that though, Liam, it could be ground and pound. Like Jimmy Flick does throw ground and pound.
He took down Nate Maness. In my opinion, Nate Maness puts Matt Schnell in the ground in 5 minutes. Yeah,
listen, I think, first of all, I think Schnell's takedown defense is absolutely ass. It's bad. It's not good. And honestly, people shit talk Jimmy Flick. He showed, I will say he was a quitter before, but the last 2 fights against Malcolm Gordon and Nate Maness, he showed me he's not going to quit. Like Nate Maness fight, he could have quit. He did not quit. He kept coming forward. He kept attempting takedowns. He kept trying to strike, right? And on top of it, he said apparently he tore his knee or something in that fight. He had 2 different injuries in the Maness fight. He said, I had 2 injuries and I kept going for 3 rounds. He goes, I wanted the victory so bad that I kept going. That's what he said. So I see one guy now in his career that is continuing to fight, Liam. Like Malcolm Gordon fight, he could have quit, right? Malcolm Gordon had him almost out of there. He could have quit. But what did he do? He fought through adversity and eventually finished Gordon himself, right? So the difference that I see with the trajectory of these two guys' career, right? And listen, I don't think Flick is like some great fighter. He is not a good fighter. Like, he's a sub-merchant, right? He wants to get the fight to the ground, and that's it. Like, his striking is bad. His defense is bad. He's very slow. He's unathletic. You name it. You can go on and on, right? What does he do well? Jiu-jitsu. He's good at jiu-jitsu, right? That's it.
And he's not a bad wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay. Yeah, he's
nothing special, but not bad.
His entries are so slow, though, you know, at his age. But, you know, but when you look at Matt Schnell, dude, and something that stuck out to me, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know if you looked into this, but I did. And I'm like, hold on, I gotta see what's going on with this guy. So I went into Matt Schnell and I said, how many times has this guy in the UFC been in a submission attempt, right? And I look, Cody Durden, he subbed him. One sub attempt, Brandon Royval, he subbed him. Then I have to go all the way fucking back to Rob Font. And that was like a week. It wasn't even, they called it a sub attempt. It wasn't even like a sub attempt, right? And the thing that sticks out with this guy, Liam, even in the one when the Ultimate Fighter, dude, in the Ultimate Fighter against Tim Elliott, what was that, dude? Like, he's got him in this like front choke. He's on the side, bro, and he's double tapping again. If you watch the Ultimate Fighter, he double tapped again for the millionth time. This guy continues to double tap. It's not something new. He's done it 3 times. And the thing is, every time this guy's put in a sub attempt, he's tapped immediately. It's done. So it's like, okay, well, now you're facing a guy that's going to hunt subs like a motherfucker if he gets you down. What are you going to do? Just quit? You're just going to give up? And listen, this guy doesn't have 15 or whatever, 16 subs by accident, Jimmy Flick. Like, he attacks submissions on the ground. He's got 15 fucking submissions. So I'm playing the sub here, Liam. It's 3-1 on DK, right? I just see a guy that just absolutely quits when he gets put in these submissions. Like, tap, 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 double hands. And he's facing a guy that's extremely dangerous. Probably, you know, one of the best guys he's faced when you're talking about submissions, right? Like,
how about this? Common opponent, Cody Durden, submitted our guy Matt Schnell on the first attempt. Matt Schnell made 1 takedown attempt, and the fight is over shortly thereafter.
That's what I'm saying.
And on the opposite side, when Cody Durden attempted a takedown on Jimmy Flick, he instantly got submitted. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, all this to say that he said himself, he's probably retiring. This is from Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick knows. Remember the last fight, right? He lost. He left his gloves in the ring. He said he was going to retire. Then he went home and said, I made too quick of a decision. I don't really want to retire. Well, let me tell you this. I think the reason why fucking Matt Schnell didn't retire is because this is the last fight of his contract. He's lost 3 straight. He's going to take 1 more payday and go home. And honestly, this line movement tells me that, dude. This is this crazy line movement. Insane line movement on this fight.
Somebody, Wheezy in the chat said he thought it was going back up to plus 250. Narco, I regret that I didn't put a bigger position on it because I thought the same thing. I was like, everybody's betting Matt Schnell. Early in the week, there was resistance on Matt Schnell at minus 250, minus 275. And then I wake up the next morning, it's plus 170, and it's never come back.
Listen, I was under the impression that I was like, man, if this line keeps coming in, I'm going to bet Schnell. Then I heard all these things that he wants to retire after this fight. He's got his own gym now, all this fucking things. And then Jimmy Flick, out of all people, in his interview says, this guy wants to retire. I'm going to make him retire. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this guy. So, and then I see all these submission attempts where he's always tapping every single time. It's a red flag, man. It's a red flag. This guy, if the fight hits the ground and there's adversity with the submissions, he's going to tap. And so,
you know who's never tapped? Jimmy Flick.
Yes,
so the guy who everybody calls a quitter. So yes, you can beat up Jimmy Flick sometimes, but one guy taps and one guy doesn't. So
Yeah, and he's been in a lot of sub attempts in the UFC too.
Dude, Nate Maness had a really tight like ninja choke attempt on him.
And he has long arms.
If you're really good, you can drag your way back out, which is what we see high-level guys do. Shavkat dragged his way back out of a ninja choke against Ian Gary.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's doing. Jimmy Flick, and Schnell is good on the ground. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good off his back, but he's not subbing Jimmy Flick. I
good
really
triangle series, but that's it. He's a merchant of like a handful of moves from the guard.
But that's where he's going to get himself in trouble, because that's when Jimmy Flick is going to pass and he's going to just destroy him.
Jimmy Flick does a triangle, just better.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 15-2 Ikram Alaskarov versus 24-6 Andre Muniz. Man, Andre Muniz looks fucking huge, man. I mean, this guy is humongous for it. I don't know how he makes 85. Saw him at Face-Offs, and I'm like, dude, how is this guy an 85er? I mean, he is so big. Like, I know this line is like huge, and I honestly don't think it should be this big. I mean, I'm watching Ikram, and listen, is the guy skilled? Sure. But I'm watching this round 1 against Mario Sosa, who I think is honestly a can. And he's absolutely lighting him up on the feet, dude, for as long as it lasted, right? And in Contender Series. He's fucking landing left, right, and center on him. And then finally, he's like, fuck this. I got to take this dude down, He takes him down and gets the Kimura easily against him, right? Phil Haas fight. Like, Phil Haas is fucking landing on him like crazy on the feet. And then, obviously, we know what happens with Phil Haas. The minute you touch him, he just gets discombobulated and he got finished. There's something to be said. Like, is Whitaker good? Sure. He's world class. He's very, very good. But the way Whitaker put him out, it's like, man, dude, is this guy's chin iffy? Like, here's the thing, Liam. I'll put it to you this way. Last knockout for Whitaker prior to this was in 2015 with his hands. The other 2 knockouts were head kicks. So I don't really count them, right? Head kicks are different. Like, he hurt him immediately when he landed a big shot on this guy. And Whitaker's, he's not known for power, dude. Like, he's just not a power puncher. And Ikram, like, I just didn't like what I saw, like, reacting to punches. The Sosa fight, I didn't like how he's reacting to punches, right? It didn't look good. And so, he's probably going to come in and try to strike, right? I think he's the much better striker of these two. That's the problem with Muniz, right? His striking is not good, right? He's a robot. He's going to kick. He's going to try to shoot, himself, try to get the fight to the ground, and try to use his jiu-jitsu. I think while Muniz is fresh, I think he's kind of hard to finish. I think, he's going to use his kicks. He's going to use his size and distance. And then he's going to try to close the distance and try to cage push, maybe get you down. So I don't think Ikram is going to find him early. However, the problem for Muniz is like, it's going to be very, very hard to get Ikram down. Like, Ikram's wrestling is too damn good.
Totally
we saw him going up against Chimaev in the regionals. Like, this guy's wrestling is elite. It's very, very hard to get this guy down. And I don't see it for Muniz. So Muniz is going to have to be standing. He's kind of fucked in the standing, to be honest, because his striking is just not good enough. So I think Ikram KO 2-3 is where I'm going to go with this. 4-2-5 on KO 2, which is a shit line. KO 3 850 on FanDuel. I mean, that's the only thing I could play here, honestly. I can't play anything else. I mean, maybe you can make a case for Muniz, but I just don't see it, man. I can't see him getting on top of this guy. That's the problem. Go ahead, Liam.
Yeah, we see this one the same way, man, which is like, if Alaskarov slips on a banana peel, if he gets hurt on the feet by something random and like falls over, like, Muniz on top is a problem for just about anybody, right? He's an excellent jiu-jitsu player, heavy on top. He's got dangerous arm bars. He's a tricky guy. And I was big on Muniz when he first got to the UFC, but unfortunately, I don't think we've seen enough adaptation from him. And here's the thing. If you're going to be a jiu-jitsu guy, you got to be the best jiu-jitsu guy in the division, right? Like at this level of the game, if you're in the top 10, if you're in the top 5, like you got to be Damian Maya. Nobody wants to fuck with your jiu-jitsu. And he's not that, right? We just saw Brendan Allen was able to deal with his jiu-jitsu, get his jiu-jitsu game going, use his pace, use his aggression, and his athleticism. We kind of saw the same thing with Paul Craig. And again, it's like, those are guys you got to beat if you're going to be the jiu-jitsu guy of the division, right? You got to be able to beat Paul Craig. So for me, that was like a big setback. Then you could make an argument he's 0-3 on the hop, right? Like he barely won that last fight against Jun Young Park. A lot of people thought it could have went the other way. Certainly a close decision, split decision territory. So ultimately, I haven't seen enough adaptation from him on the feet. I haven't seen him improve enough there. He's 4-5 career to the knockout. Don't love that at all. I think rounds 2 and 3 are probably the hot rounds for Aliskerov, like you said, in terms of the KO, TKO. I liked the ends by sub a tiny bit because it covers, in my opinion, how Muniz would win the fight, but also Muniz capitulated against Brendan Allen. And sometimes guys like to take, a little badge of honor off the jiu-jitsu guy by get him tired, beat him up, and then submit him. We've seen that with Fluffy Hernandez and Adolfo Vieira, just by example. But also, so you get Muniz's win equity, and you talked about it. Mario Souza was kind of doing a number on him, but when he gets on top, Aliskerov is strong, and he knows what he wants. He basically goes for that Kimura series a lot of the time from the top position, and he's dangerous with that. So if Muniz is in cardiac arrest, it doesn't matter if he's a brown belt or a black belt or a whatever belt, he's going to get his arm put behind his back and probably ask for mercy. So that's kind of the way I look at this, but this is not a fight I really like betting on, It's kind of a fight I'll watch and see where these guys are going. I thought Ikram could compete with Rob, and to your point, not a good showing, right? Really bad showing. And it's the same way he got finished by Khamzat Chimaev, uppercut right up the middle. So maybe it's showing a little bit of a vulnerability, a susceptibility. If Andre Muniz comes out firing uppercuts, we know that he watched tape. But if he didn't, like I don't expect him to, then he's probably not getting the takedowns he needs to win the fight.
The problem is he's going to throw an uppercut. He's going to eat a left hand and just go to sleep. That's the issue. He doesn't know how to probably throw him properly. He's going to expose himself to a big shot right down the middle while he's throwing a stupid uppercut with his hand down.
So you're saying there's a chance? Oh,
yeah. All right, let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 19-6 Randy Brown versus the 23-5-1 Nicholas Dolby. And this one's yours.
So this is like a used Corolla, but the fight under 2.5 rounds is like plus 2xx. And frankly, like I just see a couple different ways that this could end. I don't think that Randy Brown's got the greatest chin you've ever seen. Basically his losses are like when he gets cracked in the chin, shit goes sideways for him. Aside from that, he's a very talented guy. He's a dangerous guy. And when he fought an old guy last time out, he absolutely butchered him and put him down quickly. Muslim Salikov, a guy who's 8-4 in the UFC, a guy who's got a very solid record, very powerful and potent striker in his own right, knows the defense. He got lit the fuck up. And I think that Randy Brown could do the same thing to Dolby here. I like Dolby. I respect him a lot. There's no money on Dolby this week. It seems like people are writing him off. He shows up in great shape at 40 years of age. I think Dolby's got a chance to pull it out in rounds 2 and 3 if Brown comes out looking for the finish and can't get it. But ultimately, I just think that there's like more paths to finishing this fight than the books are giving credit for. Like, I think Randy could club and sub him. I think he could knock him out. I think that Dolby could pace him late. I think that Dolby could just connect on a shot and Randy Brown's chin does the wonky things it does sometimes. Like literally Nico Price guys hit him with a hammer fist from laying on his back and Randy Brown was out cold. So I don't think that he's got a bad chin, but when your chin is like that and the under of the fight not to go is plus 225, it's just like, huh? It doesn't really make a tremendous amount of sense to me. So give me the fight not to go or at least the under 2.5, let's say, as our use Lambo. And then let's go Randy Brown round 1 for the Lambo play.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good nugget here for everybody. So Nicholas Dolby, if you guys didn't know, is 40 years old. He's going to be 41 this year. Nicholas Dolby had a fight November 9th against Zaleski, and he pulled out. And nobody really knows why he pulled out, right? Like, it doesn't say sickness, injury. Nobody knows, right? Well, you do some digging and you find out that Nicholas Dolby apparently got knocked out in sparring, which made him pull out of the fight. He still wanted to actually fight, and he wanted to take that fight, but his team his doctor, everybody said, hey, listen, you can't take this fight. You're not properly there. You cannot take this fight. So if you listen to the media day, right? If you listen to his media day, he talks about this actual incident. And the guy asks him, he says, hey, you know, you pulled out of the Zaleski fight, but do you care to tell us what the injury was? He's like, you know, well, he's trying to like dance around. And the guy goes, if you don't want to tell us, you don't have to tell us, but, you know, we would like to know, you know, why you pulled out. And then he proceeds to say, hey, listen, I took a big blow in sparring. My body's never felt like that before. I wasn't there anymore, and blah, blah, blah. He starts talking about, I had to reset. I had to stop. I had to go see a mind guy, you know, to tell me, you know, to kind of fix my mind. He was all fucked up because he says specifically, I've never felt this my entire career. He's never been knocked out, right? And he's never felt that. And he said, this is the first time at the age of 40 now that I've ever felt something like this. So the thing is, that's a bad sign to me. Even though it's inspiring, Liam, it's bad at 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? Once this starts happening to you, it's a chain reaction. Like it's going to continue to happen now, right? Whether he had a concussion, I'm assuming he got concussed, right? So whether he got concussed or whatever, this is going to be a reoccurring theme, I believe. You know, like, is Nicholas Dolby tough? Sure. He's never been knocked out, right? He's got fucking 29 fights. The dude's never been knocked out. But Dolby's been hurt many times in his UFC career. He's been dropped a lot. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's been dropped 4 times, right? He's been hurt other times. And one thing I could tell you is Randy Brown hits hard. I mean, he's got those long limbs. He can connect, and he can connect hard on you, you know. And I had Randy Brown at a big number against Salikov, who also, I don't think he had ever been knocked out prior to that or something, you know. And I'm like, oh, Brown KO 700? Like, yeah, give me that all day. Like, he's going to connect. He's going to connect hard. And I think the same thing's going to happen here. But what you mentioned is what I love. I took the ITD at 3-1. I think that's a smart move to do, right? But sprinkle that damn 11-1 submission, dude. Like, sprinkle it, because the Rude Boy goes for a lot of subs, man. He really does. Like, just look at his career. He does the club and sub thing. He has those long ass freaking arms. Like,
one arm rear naked chokes.
He is going to go for it, man. And he went for it against Trinaldo. He went for it against a couple of times against Zaleski. And I think, you know, he could have a wounded duck in front of him and be like, oh, give me that fucking neck. You know, I got these long arms. Let me snatch that neck up. So I played ITD, but I also sprinkled the sub at 11-1. I just think it's very big. It's on FanDuel. I think it's a great price for a guy that has shown the propensity to actually go for submissions. And he's the much taller guy. That's the other thing. Like, if Dolby gets stunned, what do we think his reaction is going to be, right? He's going to try to grapple. And I think that's when he can potentially sink it in on him. So, yeah, I mean, I watched back that battle fight. I think he got robbed I don't want to use robbed. I don't want to say robbed. I think he won that fight, but they gave it to Battle for whatever reason. The UFC actually loves Battle, and that's just whatever reason, you know, they love him. But
I love Brian too.
Yeah, but I thought Randy Brown won that fight.
They gave me 11-1 for him to knock out Gabe Green. I mean, come on, he'll have a special place in my heart.
One punch, bang. That was the fight that
11 seconds in his hometown in North Carolina. I was like,
you know what's crazy? That was the fight Gabe Green just decided to go fucking absolutely bonkers right away. I'm like, what's he doing?
At him.
Bang, knocked out. Anyways, let's move on. Fight number 11. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 31-12 Michel Pereira versus the 27-6-1 Abus Megaov. And I will kick this one off. I don't know if you noticed, Abus had a black eye, a right eye. Did you notice that?
I tweeted it out earlier. Yep. I tweeted it out. I thought it was a black eye. I wasn't sure, but
it's definitely a black eye. You could see the progression in his videos. It's definitely a black eye. Whether he got his nose broken or what, I don't know, but he definitely is coming in with a black eye. I want to say that Michel Pereira, you know, a lot of people are kind of like down on it. Here. If he doesn't lose to Hernandez, this price is probably minus 250, right? 200 at minimum. But he loses to Fluffy, and now, you know, this price is minus 138, minus 140, minus 148. And listen, is Abus talented? Sure, I do think he's talented. But, like, for all the flaws that Pereira has with cardio, I think Abus has worse cardio than him. Honestly, I really, even in the Ferreira fight, like, he was death gas in round 3. He's lucky that he got that takedown. If he doesn't get that takedown, and by the way, Ferreira was absolutely dead. He couldn't do anything after he got taken down.
I think that was his first third round ever, Ferreira. I'd have to double check that. But
It was. You're absolutely right. It was his first third round ever. And, you know, people say Pereira's, Michel Pereira gets tired, blah, blah, blah. Sure, he's explosive early, but I don't think his cardio is as bad as people make it out to be. Not anymore. He knows how to control himself. Like, listen, Fluffy Hernandez fight, like, a lot of people would have given up in round 3, dude. I literally could tell you maybe 99% of the people would have given up. But he kept fighting. He kept moving. He kept trying to get up. Like, I was there in person, man. He was getting beat the fuck up, and he was dead tired. But the guy kept trying to get up. He kept trying to move. You know what I'm saying? And I think on the feet, Abus is the more technical striker, but the more explosive guy of Michel Pereira. He's very unorthodox. He's hard to deal with. And quite frankly, I don't think Abus is going to have success getting takedowns. He's not a chain wrestler. You know, if you look at the fight against Anthony Hernandez, he had no success in his initial attempts. None. He kept stuffing them, kept digging underhooks, doing all the right things. It was the chain fucking wrestling that started getting to him, right? Hernandez doesn't stop. If Abus does what Hernandez did in rounds 1 and like halfway through round 2, he'd have a fucking heart attack. He'd be dead by then. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go out on a limb here and go Michel Pereira by submission at 9-1. I think he can lock something up on this guy. He's got very dangerous front guillotines, very good front chokes. The guy is super, super strong. And I think if it happens, it probably happens later, in my opinion. Like when Abus is tired, he's going to shoot those sloppy-ass takedowns, right? Or trying to shoot. And I think he can find them, dude. Like, you know, Ferreira had a guillotine on him. It was just not very – it wasn't in properly. And Ferreira has kind of like short arms. Pereira has much longer arms, you know, and he could squeeze just as tight. And if you look at one more thing before I let you go, because I've been going way too long. But if you look at one thing that's pretty common with Michel Pereira in a lot of his fights, and that is, Liam, that every time there is people that try to grapple him, he always goes for sub-attempts in those fights. He actually goes for them, and he gets them sometimes, and he doesn't get them some other times. But what I'm trying to say is I do think Abus at some point is going to grapple just because of how awkward, how weird Pereira is on the feet and how explosive he is. And he's very powerful. So I'm playing the sub, man, 9-1. If you want to get really sneaky, it's going to be sub 2-3, guys. It's like 18, 19-1, 20-1, something like that. And that will be my whisper bet of the week. Go ahead, Liam.
My man, I'm glad that we see this one the same way. I have the ends by sub as an official play. And the reason I took that is pretty straightforward. Number one, I don't think people rate Bruno Hulk Ferreira. I do. I think he's a good fighter. He's beaten good fighters now in the UFC, knocked them out, submitted guys. He's 4-2 in the promotion, beat RoboCop. Like eventually people are going to have to say Bruno Ferreira is actually good at fighting. But then when you look at it, it's like, yeah, he's a front-loaded guy. He's a guy that comes out with a lot of aggression, a lot of enthusiasm. Judo Hulk, right? He could throw people around. By the way, took Phil Hawes and threw him ass over tea kettle. So when people want to say this guy can't wrestle, grapple, he can. The thing is, Abus is fucking huge, right? He looks like he's 2 weight classes bigger than him. And part of that is his opponent being small. Part of that is Abus being fucking huge. He's just a big middleweight, right? He cuts a lot of weight. I talked about how that affects Damon Blackshere. He's got 2 good rounds. It starts to trail off. It's like, that's what happens a lot of times when you want to cut a lot of weight. There's trade-offs. And I think that Abus, big guy, good musculature. I think that if he decides to make it a wrestling match, he probably can take down Michel Pereira. But to your point, I don't know that he can do it for a long time, right? I think he can only do that for a certain period of time before he would exhaust himself. I honestly think if this is in round 3, either guy could just capitulate in a cardio-based, I'm on top of you, just give it to me type of thing, because I do think they're both liable to gas out if it's a high-paced, crazy fight. I was impressed with Abus's ability to get Pereira out of there while he was tired, right? Like, I think part of that was Pereira just saying, like, I don't have it tonight. Like, he got me on this one. But also, he's still squeezing. He's still getting to the right positions late. And frankly, it was like a cost calculation. My man's like, too much time left on the clock. I'm not getting out of this one, so it's over. And I think that when I look at this, like, both guys, they're going to be willing grapplers. They're like 15-3 combined to the submission prop. And the last 2 finishes for Michel Pereira in the UFC, subs in the first round. This guy's last finish, sub in the third round. Like, I think these guys are both showing they're willing grapplers, and nobody's giving them respect for it. On top of that, fight's favored -200 to end inside the distance. So why is it +450 for either guy to get a sub? Didn't make sense to me.
All right, we're seeing that one the same. Let's move on. Fight number 12. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 15-4 Giga Chikadze versus the 13-2 David Onama. This one's yours, Liam.
Yeah, I think ESPN bet has Chikadze by KO +750 and Onama by sub +850, and I think they're both wrong. So whichever side you want to grab, you go ahead and take your pick. But essentially, you've got a glory kickboxer against a guy who got dropped from some guy from Combate Americas in his last fight, Combate Global, excuse me. And he's +750 to win the fight by knockout. So instinctually, that feels wrong to me. Also, Giga Chikadze, a lot of his win equity is tied up in close decisions or knocking people out. So I think that that's something to note. He is training with new coaches. He's the only athlete on the card that missed weight. And for me, one thing we know about Giga Chikadze is you can wear him down with pressure. You can body him physically. Calvin Kattar, not known for his wrestling and grappling pedigree, Aljamain Sterling audited him for 15 full minutes inside the octagon in those phases, but he was able to pick him up, slam him down when he needed to, and basically just show him, hey, I'm more physical than you. You don't want to be close to me. I think David Onama would pick up Calvin Kattar and do the same thing. So for me, that's the difference maker in this fight is if David makes it, who's the better kickboxer, and let's try and get a highlight reel and all that stuff, he could get put on a highlight himself. But if he makes this about who's the better mixed martial artist, takes this guy down, puts him in deep water, I think he can win the fight. I think he can finish it. So give me David Onama down the stretch. Let's say round 2 or 3, let's say submission +850.
Yeah, I mean, Giga missed weight. It's not the best thing, missed by 1 pound. Someone pointed out in my Discord, he had like all this bruising on his leg. I don't know if you saw that. He had a bunch of bruising on both of his legs.
That.
Yeah,
that would make me very nervous for him.
He had a lot of bruising on his leg, and some people were saying it could potentially be cupping. Cupping normally is not really used on legs. I've never seen it too much on legs. It's usually the back, the shoulders, arms sometimes, here. But I've never really seen it on the legs. But apparently some people were saying maybe it's cupping. But, man, there's something on those legs. Like they looked like bruises. I don't know what they were, to be honest.
If you remember, he was given a long medical suspension after that Calvin Kattar fight, and like he dealt with a lot of health problems. So I literally have no idea. This is pure speculation, but just that doesn't make me feel good if somebody doesn't look good, doesn't make weight, and was like given like a lengthy ban where they weren't allowed to compete for a little while.
So here's the other thing that I didn't know up until recently, and it's good to have a network of people, right? When we're betting on this stuff, and I didn't know that Giga Chikadze had actually neck surgery. So apparently he said it. Remember Arnold Allen fight? Do you remember when he did that jumping knee at the end of round 1 and he kind of clipped Allen? Allen went backwards, but then Allen hit him with a front kick, right? He said he hit me right on my neck area and my head snapped back. He goes, my right arm went completely numb. He goes, I couldn't feel all my right arm. I fought with one arm, my left arm, the entire. And if you watch the fight, he actually is right. You see he's running away a lot in round 2. You're like, why isn't he engaging? Why isn't he engaging? And that's the reason, apparently. He was fucked up and he had neck surgery after that because he said he couldn't sleep. He couldn't do anything because of the pain. So I didn't know this, but this is what he did. I mean, it feels like it's kind of too soon to come back like from a surgery like that. Like, I understand this was in July. Like, let's just say he had the surgery and it couldn't be right away. It had to be like scheduled, all this other stuff. Maybe the end of August, something like that. And then the recovery is like 4 months at least or something. You can't really get punched. It's a little concerning, honestly. It's concerning to me. Did he look like he was in good shape? Yeah, I thought his body composition looked fine. But, I don't like hearing all those things. And now he misses weight on top of it. Like, it's not a great sign. Now, I will say, Onama, every single fucking fight I watch, he's hurt. How does this happen? Every fight, like even the freaking, what's that kicker's name? Similar to Chicate, Benitez. Benitez had him hurt bad in round 1. I'm like, dude, what is this? Every fight he's hurt? Like, how is this possible? Landwehr fight, hurt. Gabriel Benitez fight, hurt. Santos fight, hurt. Fucking Romero fight, dropped. Like, what's going on here? This guy, every fight he's gonna get hurt, and then he wakes up. Like, so to your point, like, he's getting hurt way too much. Like, you don't want to see that. Like, is he not getting finished? Sure, he's not getting finished, but like against a lethal striker like Chicate, like, you probably don't want to be hurt. Like, he's probably gonna find his follow-up shots and kill you. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really know where to go to this fight. I was like kind of torn on where to go, just because the one thing with Chikadze is he's very, very tough. Like, you see, I can't believe, Liam, that he went 5 rounds with Cater. He looked dead, bro.
I had Cater moneyline huge, and I had Cater ITD, and I still don't know how we didn't cash Cater ITD.
How did
He's
he
just
not?
a tough bastard.
He's a tough bastard, man. I have to give him that. Like, I have to give him that. He took a fucking absolute beating in rounds 3, 4, 5 in that fight. Like, beating. And, dude, he would not go out. He was getting hit flush.
Elbows, big punches, knees.
Everything. The kitchen sink was getting thrown at him, and he would not give up. So,
and honestly, he low-key, like, landed a lot on Calvin because Calvin was
early.
like so stunned that he just kept hitting him. He's like, he just won't go away. Like,
and Arnold Allen landed some big shots, and Allen hits very hard. And, like, Chikadze is very tough. Like, I don't know. Like, I was thinking I'm going to play Onama KO. He's got power. I just don't know if he can finish this dude. Like, he's super, super tough. And so there's really not much I like. I mean, the only thing I can look at here and say maybe it's a play is Chikadze decision at 3.5 to 1. Like, he's usually a decision guy, like, for the most part in the UFC. Like, I get he finished from some guys with body kicks and stuff like that, but Onama has shown he can survive, stuff like that. And 3.5 to 1, he's landing maybe the better kicks. And I don't think Onama's anything special. I really don't. I think he gets hurt way too much. I think he's fighting, close against a lot of even Armfield round 1, Armfield on short notice was lighting his ass up in round 1. It's just, and that's the thing with Onama, Liam, very slow starter, dude. Very slow starter. And Chikadze is the opposite. He's a very fast starter. He wins rounds 1 all the time. This guy loses round 1 all the time. So I think this is a great spot if you like Onama for a live bet. I really do. I think Onama live bet is a very good spot here. But I'm going to give Giga decision. It's probably my worst one. My least favorite prop out of this entire card.
There you have it. We see it largely the same, man. It's a tricky fight to call, but if I was to get a finished prop, it would be Onama by sub and hope that the guy gets tired or maybe does the Jan Blachowicz self-preservation of a bad neck tap.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I didn't know about that neck thing. It's very, very bad. Like, it can't.
I didn't know. I knew about the Dolby injury, but that one is even news to me. So I'm glad.
That one is it's a worrisome one. There's an actual article out on it if you want to look at it. Anyways, co-main event of the night. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 37-21 Anthony Lionheart Smith versus the 18-6 Minyang the Mountain Tiger Zhang. So we got a Mountain Tiger against the Lionheart. Something has to give here, Liam. And Lionheart came in looking like a big bag of milk. He looked awful on the scales. I don't think this guy even trained, to be honest. The looks of it, I mean, he looked awful. Like saggy boobs. Like, what the fuck was going on there? I'm like looking at this guy. I'm like, and he looked like his face like looked drained. I don't know what was going on, but I did not like seeing that. I mean, Anthony Smith last fight, like crying, you know, his coach is gone and he's got a lot of shit happening in his life. I don't think this guy should be fighting, to be frank. Like, and now, like, the guy that's been in the UFC this long, why are you guys giving him this Zane guy that hits like a truck? Like, what are you guys doing to this guy? Like, okay, can Smith maybe drag it on later in the fight? Maybe. But, dude, he's going to go through fucking hell early. Like, why are you guys doing this to this poor guy?
To quote Tony Soprano, this is a business.
This is definitely a business. And I'm going to just try to fade round one, Liam. I'm just going to fade round one and go KO2 on Zhang. It's 575. What the fuck am I going to play here? KO1 at fucking minus money or whatever the fuck it is? Like, that's not a Lambo. That's a fucking, you know, it's a bicycle at that point. I'm not giving out bicycles here. This is the Lambo show. So, KO2 at 575, I guess, you know, like, that's the only thing I can give, honestly. I don't like anything else here. I think Zhang knocks him out. That's it.
Yeah, we totally agree. I said the exact same thing in my write-ups. Like the only thing that looked playable on the Zhang side was the KO2. It was at like plus 490 earlier in the week, so a little bit of a better number now. I hated the number at plus 490. I thought that was kind of low anyway. So when you look at this fight, I think the only way I would look to click the Anthony Smith side, obviously it's a big enough number. You could put a small bet on the money line if you like him. I didn't like his visuals on the scale either. Walking up to the scale, Narco, I didn't know if he had an injury or just like looked like it was a hard weight cut. But sometimes if you're not training and then try and cut weight, it's very hard. So I think he just looked really bad stepping onto the scale. Like he did a fake smile, but if you watch the 5 seconds before that in the clip, he like hobbles up to the scale and like grimaces, steps on, and then puts a smile on. So I think that how does he win this fight? It looks a lot like the Petrino fight, I feel. Connect with some punches, make this guy a little uncomfortable, make him make one bad decision, lock up his neck, and be done with it. I think at the end of the day, Anthony Smith is the better grappler. He's a black belt in Gracie Baja. He's a very good grappler. You know, against even other good UFC fighters, he's out-grappled them before. But does he have the passion, the enthusiasm? Probably not, right? He's probably going to get starched up quickly in this one. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for value, besides the one Mike already gave, I don't want to be a serial repeater. I'll say Anthony Smith by sub 11-1 or the ends via sub at like 7-1. I think either of those are okay. I don't think Ming Yang's going to sub him unless he's already hurt him really bad. But again, anything's possible. It's a mixed martial arts fight. He's got 6 wins by sub himself. So just figured I'd throw that out there for whatever it's worth. But I don't think Anthony Smith wins unless he submits him. Yeah,
Anthony Smith, I mean, I would be shocked. I think the best thing probably for him is maybe draw it out and try to like cage push, do something like that, tire this guy out and get him in the
Ryan Span too. Ugly decision win.
I mean, how else? He better not be trading with this guy in round one. This guy hits like a fucking truck, dude. Like he cannot trade with this guy. There's a reason why this guy, all of his fights are round one, KO. Like that's all he knows. So yeah, I mean, and he's been training at Extreme. Like this guy is like he looks the part.
I think he's actually a prospect at light heavyweight. I think he's actually a prospect at light heavyweight because doesn't have that many athletes. So
I want to see a little bit of the grappling stuff, like maybe a little bit so we could see it. But
maybe we'll find out.
As far as striking and his actual chin looked good too, man. Like Romero landed bombs on this guy. Like
he no-sells him. I think he's on some special supplements that we won't hear about for the next 15 years.
Potentially, yes. That I agree with. Anyways, 636 live viewers in here. Appreciate you guys. Please hit the like down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I need to get to 3,000. How am I not at 3,000, Liam? 600.
Y'all got to run it up for my guy Narco.
If 100 people in here just click the subscribe, which I know Not all 600 are subscribed. I can make a bet on that. Just click the subscribe button, guys. That's all I ask. All right. With that being said, let's move on. Main event of the night. Everybody is waiting for this fight. It is in the welterweight division. It is a 15-1. Ian Machado Gary versus the 21-6 Carlos. Mr. Smoke a Cigarette. Prates. Liam. Kick us off. Main event. Awesome fight. What do you got for the people?
I am going to keep betting on Ian Gary to win a fight by submission until it fucking happens, Narco. And the reason being is, number one, I'm already too invested. I can't stop now. Number two, he keeps showing me the why, right? He keeps showing the reason why I've believed in his grappling. Shavkat Rakhmonov, never been submitted. Closest he ever came to being submitted as a pro was against Ian Machado Gary. Michael Venom Page, a guy that people want to pretend is a horrible grappler. Yeah, he's not the world's greatest wrestler and grappler. He doesn't focus on that in his fights. Never been submitted as a professional. Very, very close to being submitted against Ian Machado Gary. So I think when you look at this fight, Carlos Prates is a black belt. He's a very good grappler. I have no doubt about any of that, right? I believe in Carlos Prates, good fighter. But he's taking a big step up in competition. He's fighting a guy who's smart, who I don't think is going to say, hey, let's find out who's, got the better straight punches at distance. I think he's going to try and work him along the clinch. I think he's going to try and make his arms feel heavy. I think he's going to try and beat him up a little bit, put some doubt in his mind. And I think if he's able to do those things, that's when he can get the finish. So for me, late finish for Ian Gary. I think he would probably have to sub him. I don't think Prates is, an easy guy to put down. I think if he does get hurt, Ian might have to follow him to the ground and strap something on there. But ultimately, I think Ian Gary's a good fighter, and I don't think he gets the credit and respect that he deserves. I do understand why he's favored this weekend. I think Carlos Prates has a real chance to win. He's a knockout artist. He's a good fighter. He's confident, believes in himself, but he has not beaten anybody on this level yet. And if he does, I'll take my hat off to him. But until that point, Ian Gary nearly submitted Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's literally undefeated, 10-0 career to the submission, the biggest boogeyman. As soon as he wins that fight, right? Shavkat sucks and Ian Gary doesn't get any credit. It's like before the fight, he's the boogeyman. He's easily going to kill him. It's not going to be competitive. After the fight, Shavkat was never that good anyway. He's really not as good as we all said he was. I just feel like they don't want to give him the credit, man. So Ian Gary, for me, by sub until it happens.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not. He trained in the UK, and his last two training camps were at Shoot the Box. Yeah.
He didn't. He went back home, he said, just because he wanted to be a little closer family, more comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Ian Gary is a great fighter. I won't take anything away from him. I will say that Shavkat came in with a torn MCL. That was probably played a big part in why, he couldn't even fucking get takedowns. I don't know if you remember, but he could not get any takedowns. He didn't look good.
Wrestles upper body against most guys, and Ian's a judo guy. So I do think that even if they were both healthy, people might have been surprised by those wrestling exchanges, but I'm biased.
Yeah, no, it could be. But you know what you didn't see from Shavkat is his kicks. He didn't kick at all in that fight. And I do think that potentially that was part of the issue. Anyways, I don't want to take away from Ian Gary. He looked pretty damn good there against a very, very good fighter. And now he's facing a guy in Carlos Prates. From what I've seen from Prates, I think his takedown defense is solid. I think he does really well with the underhooks. I think he has very good balance on one leg when they try to single leg him. And these fighting nerds guys, man, they work on everything. Don't sleep on these guys. They work on everything. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling. The one clip that I saw, they were interviewing Kaio. And the last, I think they said 9 months or something, they've been bringing Dagestani guys from Russia to teach them wrestling. And they're instructors in the gym, in the fighting nerds. So these guys are taking this shit very seriously. You could see with all their guys, they're well prepared for fights. They all have good stamina, right? Pick any one of the guys. They all have good cardio. It's crazy. Every one of them. And I think it's
Keenan Kraszewski.
Oh, I don't even know if that guy counts as a... Does that guy count?
Dude, he doesn't count because he loses. If he won, he'd count.
Well, I mean, Keenan Kraszewski, he only was there for one fight camp. I don't think he was there ever before.
I have to double check that. I thought he was a fighting nerd when he was on Contender. But
No. He was not a fighting. I'm pretty sure he was not a fighting nerd. I think he became a fighting nerd, and then they probably kicked him out again. The same with what's her name? The girl that just recently lost to the China.
No, dude. What's his name? Ben the Bane Davis tweeted about Bruna Brazil like not being part of the team or something because she lost, and fucking Gene Silva was in his replies basically telling him somebody needs to beat you up. If I see you, I'm gonna beat you up.
No, he didn't. I didn't see that.
Swear to God, go look at it. It's hilarious, man.
Oh my God. Yeah. So Bruna Brazil is also, she came there after the fact. But anyways, these guys, I do think they game plan very well. I think they train very hard. You know, Prates has a lot of hype, obviously, right? He has a ton of hype, but I do think this guy is super dangerous everywhere, honestly. Like, if you watch the fight against the Russian guy years back in his loss, right? That Russian guy is an elite wrestler, very, very good wrestler. He was getting him down. But you could see Prates attacking a lot of submissions, man. Like, he knows what to do on the ground. It's not a fish at all. And I don't know. You said he's a black belt. I didn't even know that. The guy is not a fish on the ground. He knows what he's doing. And on the feet, Liam, this is why I think I like the Prates size mainly. It's the southpaw stance, man. Like, you know, Gary's not going to be able to use those calf kicks and oblique kicks that he used against Shafkat. He used a ton of oblique kicks and calf kicks and shit like that against Shafkat. He's not going to be able to use those against a guy like Carlos Prates because of the southpaw stance, right? Ian Gary's orthodox. He is southpaw. He's going to have to land inside leg kicks, which against a Thai guy, you know, and Prates is a Muay Thai background, you're going to get those checked and checked hard, and you're not going to kick anymore. So what it does open up for Ian Gary is the high kicks and the body kicks, right? Because of the southpaw stance, he is going to probably be able to land some body kicks there. But like the counter to that kick is the straight left hand down the pipe, you know, and Prates has a nasty straight left hand. So the thing with Gary and what I've noticed is, like, he likes to circle, right? Like we know that. Like, he's going to kick you. He's going to throw the 1, 2, 3, whatever, and then circle. He's not going to stay in the pocket and try to trade with you. He's smart, right? When I watched the Neal fight, Neal is pressuring him, but Neal is following him. He's letting him circle and circle and circle. He's not cutting him off at all in that fight. And that fight was a close fight when you go back and watch it. It's not a, you know, and remember, Neal is a southpaw in that fight. So he's kind of a similar style to Prates. Now, the difference between those two guys is that Prates cuts off the cage really well, man. He steps to the right. He does not follow his opponents. And if you see in a lot of his fights, Liam, he traps guys on the cage. And that's when he gets them, right? Look at Ratke, trapped on a cage, knocks him out. Jingling Lee, trapped on a cage, knocks him out. And that's because of his footwork. He knows to step on the outside instead of following. He steps the way you're going, and he cuts off the cage on you. And then he traps you, and he's long, right? So I don't think Gary's going to have a lot of success doing the circling stuff against him because of those reasons. So I do think that Gary is smart. I do think that Gary, if he happens to land on him, he's going to clinch. He's going to, you know, he's not going to just let you just tee off on him, right? It's Gary's smart. And I kind of think this fight goes longer, Liam. I really do. I think it might end up going to decision even. And I'm looking at Prates at 8.5 to 1 on decision at plus 850. And when you're watching Gary, his decisions aren't, it's not like he's blowing people out of the water. They're all closer decisions. He's not killing people. Like, he's a point merchant, right? He's not really a guy that has huge power in his hands, right? He's a very good technical striker, but I don't think he has one punch KO power. He's more of a kicker, you know? So for me, I kind of think Prates is going to win a lot of the moments in this fight. I think Prates, if there's anybody that's going to be hurt outside of, like, you know, head kicks or something, I think it's going to be Gary getting hurt. So I'm going to take a shot on 8.5 to 1 here on Prates by decision. I mean, this is a long ass breakdown, but even split at 7.5 to 1 is not bad. This is moments over minutes. That's how you're going to look at this fight, because I think minutes can be won by Gary just because of the movement, the kicks, defensively is a little bit better, but the moments I think is a Prates moment. So, 7.5 to 1. I mean, on split is not a bad look there.
So can I put one question to you, Mike, which is, essentially, like, I agree with you that it's probably not going to be like conducive to a win if he just skirts the outside and like backs up, right? Like, I think that that's a way you lose a competitive decision against Prates, to your point. But my gut instinct is that he's going to try to put him on the fence. Like, if you go back and look at the, because you mentioned, where is the big danger zone? If Carlos Prates has you with the fence behind you, he's going to start picking kill shots to try and put you down with, whether it's that raised knee, whether it's those big punches. But when he's backed up against the fence, some of those things that are special about his game that you talked about, his footwork, his ability to move and make decisions, they get limited. And I think that we kind of saw, obviously, I think it was in the Apex, so not a perfect analog, but in the fight that he had with Trevin Giles didn't have success backing up. He had success coming forward, and it was almost to his own surprise. He started the fight throwing a lot of low kicks and like trying to pick away at Prates' lead leg, which is a smart game plan. Then, to your point, Prates starts checking everything, and he's like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not throwing into that much more unless I set it up with the hands. So then he starts throwing his jab. He starts throwing his 1-2. He starts blitzing in 3 and 4 punch combinations, and he starts pushing him against the fence. He had success with every one of those tactics. And I think that when you're Ian Gary and you're studying the guys in the division, you're like, I could go out there, show him some hands, push forward, try and grab a hold of him, try and get this guy a little bit tired. The thing about Carlos Prates is he's very comfortable in a striking fight. He's got fucking Muay Thai tattooed across his chest. I think if you go out there and give him a Muay Thai fight, you're just asking for bad things to happen to you. But like, if you make it a dirty mixed martial arts fight, one of these guys has been finished 5 times. And you can make the excuses about his age. You can make the excuse. Ian Gary's been fighting for a long time. Who's putting him away? I'll wait. So then I think people are not giving any respect to the fact one guy has rallied from adversity, found a way to win. And one guy's been put away 5 times in professional MMA by hook or by crook, any way you want to slice it. Knocked out and submitted. The other guy hasn't. So for me, those are the kind of things where I like your angle on the decision. I think that that's a good way to get some potential value. Ian does fight to close decisions. He is a vulnerability to get hurt, but I don't think people give enough credit to, again, against Shavkat, you stand a distance the whole time. You might get murked. People thought if he goes in the clinch, there's no way he's going to compete there. And it was a very competitive fight in the clinch. Shavkat basically won that fight on the strength of like one big connection here, one big connection there. It wasn't a blowaway in any round, really.
No, it was a close fight. And then he needed that one takedown in that one round. I think it was round 4 that he sealed the round with a takedown. But, the thing is with Prates in the clinch, he's also dangerous too. Like he's got Muay Thai, those knees. He's got nasty. I don't know how he gets torque on those knees like that, but he fucking hurts everybody when he lands it. And he knows how to land them. Them pointy ass, and he's got skinny ass legs. It's not like he has thick legs that are skinny, but he just knows how to throw them. He throws those knees really, really good. And, it's going to be an interesting fight. The thing with Gary is like, I know what you're saying with like the rushing forward Giles. I don't really see him fighting like that a lot on tape. That's the only thing. It's like he loves a pretty fight, right? Like to his credit, he should be fighting a pretty fight because he's a very good technical striker. Like that's just how he fights. Like he doesn't want to be hit and he wants to hit you. So you can't fault him for that. That's his style. He's been doing this forever, and successfully. So I can't blame him for that. But, if he rushes in and tries to do something that he never really does, I don't know how he's going to, is he going to get caught doing something like that? How is he, I think it's not that easy to just change your style all of a sudden. I understand what you're saying because based on the matchup, right? But it's hard.
MVP and Shavkat were the progressions. He's slowly been becoming a clinch fighter. Just wait.
Yeah, I mean, he did clinch against Shavkat some for sure. But
and
like
MVP.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like honestly, Shavkat, I don't know how much that fucking knee really bothered him. He couldn't throw kicks. I really don't know. But it could be excused. It could be a lie, like because he didn't look great, right? Nobody's going to know. And honestly, to Gary's credit, he says, I tore his knee. He's saying he tore it coming in, but I tore his knee. But then you have, what's the announcer, the wrestler?
Cormier.
Cormier saying that in the interview with Shafkat, he told him he had a torn knee. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like after the fact.
Although I wouldn't put it above DC to run cover, but I do think that's probably true.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, this is a good. It's a very, very good fight, man. I really think Gary's a great fighter. Like I don't take anything away from him. I just think that Prates is I don't want to say bad matchup, but the way he cuts off the cage, he's gonna cause. I think there's going to be some car crashes, in my opinion, which I don't think Gary wants car crashes. That's the thing. He wants more of a pretty fight. And I don't know if he's going to be able to get takedowns. I really don't. If he does, props to him. I don't think it's going to be
round
easy.
1, 2, and 3. I don't think he's going to. Round 4 and 5. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, short notice. Don't forget, he's short notice. So, all right.
He was against Shavkat too. He accepted the dangerous grappler and the dangerous striker. Both.
I give him.
Notice.
Dude,
He's got big
him
Irish balls.
All the credit in the world to him, like taking these fights. He didn't need to, but the Shavkat fight was actually good for him because if he wins, he's the star, right?
And if he loses, he's got a built-in excuse. But
exactly. I mean, well, no, if he loses to the best guy in the division that everybody says is the best, right? The boogeyman. So it was like a win-win for him. But like taking this fight on short notice, now this one's a scary fight because he loses here, he's dropping. I mean, he's dropping, you know. So, anyways, 14 fights. We went all through 14. Let me give out my Lambo parlay. I have 2 of them, and they're basically the same but a little mixed. So I got Wellmaker KO, Flick submission, Blackshere submission, 43-1. And then change the Wellmaker KO to Brown KO. And then with the other 2 subs, it's 42-1. So I don't mind both of those, honestly. I think I like the Brown one a bit more, but not bad at all. What do you like here, Liam?
So I gave this out on Maddie Betts' show yesterday, and I actually played this myself. Any fighter wins by KO, TKO in Amarim, Vienna. Any fighter wins by submission in Abus and Michelle Pereira. The total on that is going to be plus 34.75, and it gives me, I think, some runway, right, on both fighters to have a chance to win, cash the ticket for you. So that's the one that I went with, and yeah, I'm hoping that it comes through because I put some coins on it already.
Can you repeat that one again, please?
Absolutely. So it's any fighter wins by KO, TKO, or DQ in the Amarim Vienna fight.
Okay.
And then any fighter wins by submission in the Abus and Pereira fight.
So the Amarim one is KO, TKO, right?
Yep, at plus 550. And then the Pereira Abus one ends by sub at plus 450.
Nice. Nice and easy.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, my man. Thank you very much. We've been going on for a long time. 680 live viewers. I appreciate you guys. Please follow Liam Picks Fights on Twitter. Great dude. Knows his MMA. Knows his UFC. Hit him a follow. Also, follow me at Narcocop on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel, like I said. And if you want to join my Discord, link is down below. $25 a month through OddsShopper. Liam, one last thing. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, super quick. I just want to say I'm a dual citizen, all right? So before y'all tell me I'm not Irish, I know exactly who I am. I'm an Irish-American original, and I show up each and every week to talk about these fights. If you guys are looking for more of me, you can find me everywhere at Liam Picks Fights. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us in the chat. Appreciate my guy Mike for having me on the horn, and good luck. God bless, and we'll see y'all on the other side.
Yeah, appreciate you, Liam. Thank you for showing up today. Also, one last thing. Tomorrow, I will have my final bell, UFC final bell for UFC Kansas City on Twitter, X Spaces, whatever you want to call them. I think it's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern. I will be running the show. So if everybody wants to join there, it's going to be on X Spaces. Also, Liam, again, thank you very, very much. Good luck tomorrow. And let's cash those tickets for UFC Kansas City. Peace.